Hello and welcome back again to the 1.85 dev server. So, obviously, as I'm British, I was immediately excited when they announced the release of the Gloucester Javelin Mark 9. This plane is gorgeous. It looks amazing. However, immediately on the dev server, I have a few concerns. Hopefully, these will be rectified by the time that this aircraft is released. My first concern is that the aircraft is 9.7 and subsonic. The Javelin in real life was not a supersonic jet with a maximum speed of around 1,140 km an hour, which is about 60 km an hour below the supersonic threshold. However, this plane in War Thunder is significantly slower than that. And with massive fuel starvation issues, it's really looking worrying. With only 400 rounds to go around quad HARASS cannons, you're really not going to be engaging for long before you're out of ammunition in this thing. Even if you can get your guns on target, considering they're mounted in the wings very far out. So that means you're going to need to engage at range with this thing, or you're going to engage at close range with this thing, depending on what your convergence is set to. There will be no snapshots like the Hunter. There will be none of that gameplay that you get with the normal jets, the Sabres, the MiGs, the Hunter, none of that, because of the wing-mounted guns. You're going to have to engage at 400 meters, and 400 meters alone. So, while I'm clowning around, just failing miserably to ever use this aircraft, let's go over some of the things I think they can do to fix this aircraft, and make it worthy of 9.7 BR. First things first, make sure that this is the only plane in the current patch that can carry 4 air-to-air missiles. As far as I'm aware, it is at the moment. Don't change that. If you've got performance like this, you need an advantage. And if that's having 4 air-to-air missiles as opposed to 2, that's an advantage I'm happy to carry. And that's an advantage that I'm sure enemies would be happy to fight, so long as air-to-air missiles are implemented correctly. Number 2, fix the fuel starvation bug. It's just a bug. Look, whenever I pull, it just drops out the engines. Just fix that. That's just a bug. There's no question about it. That's not meant to happen. Number 3, increase the maximum speed. It needs to be around about the same as the Hunter. Might be because it's stock. That's a potential. If so, ignore this. It needs to be slightly faster than the Hunter. As far as I'm aware, that's how it was in real life. Number 4, fix the compression. This thing turns like a brick. I mean, it's just so heavy. It really doesn't turn. You overload horrendously in negative Gs, so there's no negative Gs for you. You starve your fuel whenever you pull any kind of maneuver. The roll rate's good, but nothing about this plane other than that seems to be good. The acceleration is fairly adequate, and it definitely has a good lift ratio. Rudder's very potent, but nothing about this plane really screams good to me. You could put this thing at 9.0 and I'd still rather fly the Hunter in its current state. A lot of these issues are definitely bugs, such as the fuel starvation issue. However, some of these issues are genuine flight model issues that I feel need to be addressed by GAIJIN before this update is released. If they're not addressed, I'm afraid the Javelin's just going to dwell in obscurity just like the Challenger Mark 1. Obviously the Aidens are extremely potent weapons, which means when you do get them on target they're going to do a lot of damage. But as you can see here, if I turn, this thing is a brick maneuver. It is really bad at turning. And for something that follows along from the Meteors, it doesn't feel right. So, I'm sure this plane is not finished. I'm sure there's going to be work done on it. But in the current state of things, this plane is 110% not worth getting. Sadly, it seems us British players have been cucked once again into believing that we're going to get something interesting in the next patch, and we end up getting a huge disappointment in our face. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been my first look at the Javelin Mark 9. I hope to unlock this on the dev server at some point. If I don't get it on the dev server, I'm going to continue test driving it, see if there's any changes made to it before the end of this dev server, and if they do release a second dev server, which I feel they may need to, given all the bugs with this dev server, I will then do another review, and hopefully this plane will have amended the issues that I brought up in this video. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video or agreed with anything I've said, please leave a like, a comment, or a subscribe, and I will hope to see you in the future. Goodbye.